I mean, it's always a conscious choice of what material you use, because it's so important, really. I suppose that the early investigation of this was all about quick and cheap, so bits of card, ultimately, and then kind of the final iteration, that is actually stainless steel, so that's made of what it would be. So I'm Toby Loughton, I'm head of model making at WW+P. Quite differing projects, I suppose. This is a pedestrian footbridge, which is going over a train track here, so it had to have a parapet height of I think 1.8 metres. It has to be solid, so that's one of the constraints, but we wanted pedestrians to be able to look out kind of when they get kind of here over the ground. So I think first iterations it started with these angular panels with bits of glass in that enabled you to walk along and kind of look through the glass. But it meant that you could only see out of the bridge in one direction. When you came the other direction, you couldn't see out. Right. And it was becoming quite an expensive kind of construction idea. So we moved on to this kind of perforated, I think perforated stainless steel, I think we went for. Right, okay. And these started as very simple kind of card maquettes, and we did quite a few different iterations of perforations, different holes. And some of them, I don't know if you can see, very subtle, but some of them were going to be half etched or kind of half cut into the metal, and some of them all the way through. And we kind of developed the structure. We did lots of different 3D prints and kind of popped it all together. So these are a couple of the working models ultimately. I think that's more of a final study. But they kind of just show the end of a development.
So is this something that has been approved and gone into production?
That bridge is being built.
Being built at the moment. Great.
Year or so.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So these are the latest stage of the development, or did you do like a few?
Yeah, because I mean we've got 20 bits of card with different holes in. Right, we've got lots of different kind of 3D prints of different kind of sections through the metal. We've got different footings, where some of them are kind of flat plinths, and some of them are quite big, some are really small. So, and these are just some of them that I found a random lump of beach and put it through a saw and whacked it together. So, this has got a bit of a story to it. The reason there's a mirror here is that it's all about the soffit. Yep. And the idea is that these big cassettes can be made off-site, brought onto site. It's the canopy of a train station. Yeah, kind of off-site fabrication is the idea, so they can be loaded onto the back of a pallet truck, brought in and then bolted together. And when they started, they were this kind of cassette, like linear structure cassette. And I made one of them with the kind of the I-beams and bits of timber, and when I picked up a corner it deflected by about kind of 4 millimeters. So at this scale that felt like quite a lot to me because they're only small. So I came up with the idea of cross bracing the battens instead of kind of linear battens, and it hardly deflected at all. Like it was a kind of way better improvement. So this is the second iteration of the model.
So that's something that as a model maker you've kind of made the decision to change that, and then that's informed the design. That's gone straight back into the design.
Exactly, yeah. And it had a knock-on effect of actually reducing the amount of timber that would be used as well. So it's something like a 25% or 30% reduce in timber. So it's kind of more sustainable. It's kind of a better structure, and I think it looks more interesting. Definitely. But still trying to push this towards the direction of design, because it might go back to linear soffits for other reasons. For I don't know, hiding kind of infrastructure like cabling or guttering and things like that. So there's lots to be developed.
Really interesting. I always like the use of mirrors in models to help see things that you don't normally you're not normally drawn to. Really hard to take photos of.
Yes.
Yeah. there is that. Yeah, there is that.
But yeah.
Brilliant. What can you tell us about this one?
So this again was about the parapet. It looks like it's missing a couple of its panels, but it was trying to develop a way of changing from this standard kind of concrete panel to something that worked in here that would be made with a different material. And we tried quite a few different designs. So this panel basically lifts out and goes back in. So it was all about that. But during making this, the architects mentioned that we needed to get maintenance kind of within the thing. So we thought, oh, okay, maybe we should kind of build that in to see if it's possible for a human to actually move through it. So we built this, crazy ladder structure from their drawings, which I think is mental. I think it needs a bit of a think over, because it could be much simpler to traverse up the inside of that. It's very claustrophobic. So that was almost an accidental kind of side point.
So what kind of, about the project itself, what sort of maintenance are they doing in there? Like,
of the structure, maintenance of the structure. So big things like bridges, especially when you've got things like trains passing over, there's a huge amount of weight and kind of vibration going through the structure. So you have to check that bolts are done up properly every so often, that weld joints are still good. So there's a lot of structural maintenance that you have to do for things like this. You've got big, massive things like these bearings underneath that you have to go up and check that they're still kind of taking the load, which is why that's such a big flat platform. Otherwise you'd kind of design it with a much smaller top. But you've got to get equipment up there and test things.
So just on the subject of like material choice, your colour palette across these is quite kind of neutral, and you've got like a 2 or 3 different sort of colours or materials per model. Is that a kind of conscious choice that you've thought to keep it like minimal like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a conscious choice of what material you use, because it's so important, really. I suppose that the early investigation of this was all about quick and cheap, so bits of card ultimately, and then kind of the final iteration that is actually stainless steel, so that's made of what it would be. And I love wood. I mean, timber is one of my loves, so a bit of kind of almost unfinished wood is just quite nice, and it's a hill. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. Reason for this is laser board, but it's going to be a core 10, so like rusting steel.
Good,
so
good substitute.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Kind of. I think that's quite nice. And this is going to be a timber structure underneath, so made in ash. So it's kind of fairly appropriate. And I suppose the things that almost matter less, I've done in the white, kind of to just kind of fade back, and the things that matter a bit more to kind of draw the focus are in those slightly more brighter or kind of interesting materials. So.
Fantastic.